Fleeing the unstoppable Mongol storm, a nation of elite horse archers arrived at Hungary's gates with a desperate bargain, sanctuary in exchange for their souls and their swords. But how did these pagan refugees transform into the ultimate frontier shield of Europe? This is the violent saga of the Cumans, the nomadic warriors who rewrote the DNA of medieval. Warfare. The first warnings did not sound like war, they sounded like absence. Markets that once buzzed with trade fell silent. Caravan routes that had connected civilizations for centuries simply stopped. Messengers never arrived. Entire settlements vanished without siege, without resistance, without even a trace of negotiation. At first, people refused to believe it. Empires did not disappear overnight. But this enemy was not like any empire. The Mongols did not move like a system-precise discipline. And terrifyingly efficient, their armies traveled faster than information itself by the time news reached the next city. It was already too late. And ahead of that storm, scattered and desperate, came a people who once believed nothing could ever chase them, the Cumans, for generations. The Cumans had dominated the vast Eurasian steppe landscape that rewarded speed, awareness, and instinct. There were no walls to hide behind, no cities to defend. Survival meant constant movement. Power meant control of distance. A Cuman child did not grow up learning to stand still. They grew up learning how to ride and track. The warriors could release arrows in every direction without slowing down. Their battles were flowing encounters, constantly shifting, constantly adapting. The Cumans mastered mobility long before most of Europe understood its value. And yet, even they were not prepared for what was coming. When the Mongols entered the steppe, they did not simply challenge the Cumans, they outperformed them. The Mongols were not just fast, they were synchronized. They communicated across distances and turned flexibility into a weapon of precision. The Cumans were no longer the most dangerous force on the open plains. They had become the target. Defeat turned into fragmentation. Fragmentation turned into collapse. Entire tribes disappeared. Leaders were hunted down. The steppe, once their greatest advantage, became a space they could no longer control. They had nowhere left to run. What arrived at the borders of Hungary was not just a refugee group, it was an entire civilization in motion. The leader approached the Hungarian king not as a beggar, but as a strategist. Give us land, and we will teach you how to fight. To many Hungarian nobles, they were a risk, unpredictable, uncontrolled, potentially dangerous, but the alternative was far worse. To reject them meant facing the Mongols alone. Hungary accepted the bargain, but beneath the surface, tension was building. The Cumans did not integrate in the way the Hungarians expected, and then everything collapsed in a single moment. The Cuman leader was assassinated. Large numbers of Cumans abandoned Hungary, leaving behind a kingdom that had just lost its greatest strategic advantage. When the invasion came, it came with precision and speed. The Mongols refused to fight on Hungarian terms. At the Battle of Moti, the Hungarian army was overwhelmed. What followed was not just defeat, it was devastation. They had driven away the one force that understood this kind of war, so Hungary made a decision. They invited the Cumans back. Hungary was transforming into a hybrid military power, combining European heavy cavalry with the speed and flexibility of steppe warfare. The journey reshaped not only their own identity, but the structure of an entire kingdom.